we begin by queering up politics. UK's Prime Minister says misgendering trans people is common sense at Conservative conference.
We are going to change this country, and that means life means life. Now, that shouldn't be a controversial position. The vast majority of hard-working people agree with it. And it also shouldn't be controversial for parents to know what their children are being taught in school about relationships. Patients should know when hospitals are talking about men or women. And we shouldn't get bullied. And we shouldn't get bullied into believing that people can be any sex they want to be. They can't. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's just common sense.
He's talking about bullying. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak shared his anti-trans views while speaking at the Conservative Party conference. He told the predominantly right-wing crowd that the British public is being bullied into believing that people can be any sex they want to be, saying, quote, "A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's just common sense," end quote. And you heard the round of applause he got, and that was from a very Tory-filled MP Conservative member audience. His comments have been widely reviled by the public, many of whom said they couldn't believe him making such claims. Britain's Home Office says 2021 saw at least 2,600 reported hate crimes against transgender people in the UK. Even worse, 83% of trans people say they don't report hate crimes out of fear. Sunak's speech also touched on plans to ban trans women from female hospital wards, saying patients should know when hospitals are talking about men or women. This is not the first time Sunak has attacked the trans and non-binary community, using the subject as a joke for the entertainment of Conservative Party members. In June, Sunak was secretly filmed mocking trans people in a clip joking about women having penises. Well, this man is just disgusting to begin with. And the fact that this conference was in Manchester, UK, which is has one of the biggest prides, if not the biggest pride in Europe. So he was treading on unfriendly ground when he said this. And I'm shocked by 83% of trans. I shouldn't be, but 83% won't report a hate crime because they're afraid of more hate crime. That is terrible. That said, this government, this is a party that taught our Republicans how to eat their own. They are on their, I think, third prime minister since the last election. It's all because conservatives keep firing their own conservative leaders. You know, this is a member of a party that okayed marriage equality ahead of the time, but it's also a party that voted for Brexit. They have no real vision. They have no conservative compass. They have no real moral compass whatsoever.
Right now, the problem here is that attacking trans people is now basically routine for the right wing. I mean, he's basically stealing, the playbook from Moms for Liberty, Stupid Freedom, whatever. Mm-hmm. Attacking trans people, go the J.K. Rowling route, and, hopefully will attract people who are too ignorant to understand trans issues and basically turn us into political villains once again. The Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, him, they're on political thin ice. The next administration is less likely to be Tory. Less likely. I didn't say impossible, but
there's no chance of a Labour government not at least making serious inroads into the majority of the next election.
But the thing is, it might be a mixed government with Liberal Democrats, or Labour plus Lib Dems, etc., etc. But the problem here is that every time conservative politicians find themselves backs against a wall, they go find a scapegoat, and somehow we are the scapegoat every single time. It's women, LGBTQ people, black people. I mean, the irony of this Tory government, he's Indian, and his Home Office is explicitly anti-migrant. Like, it is, it's like that Vivek guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much ignorance, and again, the the issues in Britain are they abound. I mean, the economy is in ruin. They have a very unhappy electorate. The job situation there, people, again, inflation also out of control. People couldn't heat their homes last year. But what should we focus on? A man is a man, as a woman is a woman, because that's what's going to solve the problems. Because they can't solve problems, so they have to create them and create divisions. And
it's called look over there.
Right. Yeah, it's a playbook that's it's going to get tired. I think it's going to get tired because people, especially if we go into any kind of economic recession, people are going to say, what are you doing that's going to help me feed my kids and pay my bills? And that's really, those are kitchen table issues. Right. These issues are going to, if we go into a period where things get worse, I'm not predicting that, but those are the issues that people are going to start voting on.
Yeah, and attacking trans people isn't one of those.
Yeah.
It is in a way reassuring to know that we're not the only country with hateful enema nozzles as leaders. And don't forget, they also gave us beautiful Margaret Thatcher, such a pretty girl.
Oh, God.
I mean, just this is what they're serving up as their leaders.
I'm still bitter about Margaret Thatcher giving away Hong Kong in 1984.
Yeah.
So, but the problem with, and this is also recognizing the pattern that rich white conservatives, well, in this case, not so white, but rich conservatives using populism to drive the underclass to the polls to vote for them.
Yeah.
You know, you see it in America, now you see it in Britain too.
Yeah, and it's important to point out this was at a Conservative Party conference. This isn't necessarily a piece of legislation that's going forward. This is basically just to rile up the base. But here's the thing about the base in the United Kingdom is that they have, they're not called districts, but in the American parlance, it would be a district. And they've got like 670 seats in Parliament. And they have a lot of swing districts. And, the Conservatives could win and I think they did win like a 50-seat majority in the last election, so they're fighting amongst themselves. But it could swing. It could tidal wave go and have a 60-seat Liberal majority out of the next election, which is why we're not seeing the Prime Minister call for an election until he absolutely positively has to. Because this kind of intolerant rhetoric doesn't resonate beyond the base. And they can't rely on the base like they do in America. They don't have, God bless them, they don't have an Alabama or Mississippi.
Or gerrymandering.
Or gerrymandering at the level that we do. So we're watching.